Welcome to the show. Oh yeah. Welcome to the show. Yeah. Okay. Everybody, it's time for the show. 2 count, we about that go. Best in the Midwest, and we up next. Go and ring the bell, rest, cause here we go. Comedy meets wrestling. Yeah, we doing our own thing. Squared circle and a microphone. 2 count on everything. Can you smell what we're cooking now? Other shows, they ain't got that style profile. And while we strut on raise with 2 fingers up, JR, Big Ace, Tommy 2, they something else. This show be dynamite. Next level, top shelf. I'm like, ah. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Yes, and happy Tuesday, everybody. Yes, it is the 2 count. JR with Tom. Whitney was here. Had a problem with her audio. She will be coming back. Hopefully, she's just not frustrated. But we got a fantastic show tonight. We have a tremendous guest. Many of you have seen her. But I'm going to let you introduce because you'll do a better job of it.
Well, of course,
You're top shelf. You'll do a better job.
This is how it always is. JR's like, well, you've done more hosting than this, so just go ahead and just do the dang thing. For everybody who is watching, we do appreciate you tuning in on another 2 Count Tuesday. And tonight's guest, I'm sure people have seen her all over the place. She literally is the wrestling community itself. She's the embodiment of so many things that we like to see: inclusion, and bringing people together as wrestling should. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the one, the only Xenia, everybody. Xenia joins us.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. What a responsibility. I am the whole wrestling community. I know a lot of people who would be very mad at you saying that, but I appreciate it.
You're not the whole community, but you are such an influencer and have become well known by most of the internet wrestling community in such a short time. We're just so happy to have you on with us. Thank
you so much. I'm happy to be here.
That's really what I was trying to get by there, was the fact of, again, maybe more the embodiment of really what we want the internet, well, not just the internet, but all of the wrestling community to be, the inclusion part, making sure people are feeling welcomed at these shows and interacting with each other. Obviously, we can't always control what the internet does or says, but we try our best, don't we?
We do. We're definitely trying to campaign for everything that's good and nice and accepting and inclusive, like it said. So that's definitely the mission. That's definitely part of it.
So let's start off right from the beginning. Obviously, you've been a wrestling fan for a long, long time.
A long time.
And so, first of all, where did that love for wrestling come from? Do you remember?
I do. And I've been a wrestling fan for 18 years. Like, my wrestling fandom can serve in the military at this point. It can have a life of its own. But I started watching when I was a child, and I just randomly saw WWE on TV, and I think that's the way it happens for a lot of people. But I'm from Eastern Europe, so I'm half Romanian, half Russian, as a lot of people on the internet know. So I didn't really have access to much wrestling in my home country. So I just so happened to go on my mom's business trip with her to London. And that's where I found it. I was just in the hotel room while she was working. I was flipping through the channels, and I saw SmackDown, and the rest is history.
That's fantastic.
And what a great history it is.
And
yeah, it's been a journey since then, for sure.
And so you've been a fan for 18 years, as you said. What inspired you to come up with the brand and to, in essence, make wrestling part of your brand and part of your business?
It was a bit of a long time coming at the time, because for a long time before I started working in the wrestling business, I was just a fan. Like, for reference, like I said, I've been a fan for 18 years, but I've been working in wrestling for 7 years. So I'm working on a basis of a long-term fandom before I ever started doing any business in wrestling. But it was just such a puzzle of all things that comprised my life anyways, that took me a while to figure out, took me a while to put together, because I do have a pretty extensive higher education. I have a bachelor's degree in PR and journalism. I have a master's degree in new media and strategic communications. So communications and media and digital media is something that I've always been doing, and I have experience working for a TV channel doing all that. So it's something that has been a part of my life. And I don't know why it took me so long for that light bulb to go off and be like, oh, but what if I put the wrestling that I love so much and the media work that I do together? And that's when my YouTube channel was born, about, again, 7 years ago. And I started out very much as like a traditional YouTuber, but just with the wrestling flair to it. It's like,
Gotcha.
oh, reacting to wrestling funny moments, unboxing wrestling figures. It was very that. And that was a fun period in my life as well.
So who was the first wrestling wrestler, I guess, that
Wrestling
you?
wrestler.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm old. Remember, I just every once in a while spout some crap. Who was the first wrestler that you actually got to interview and have on your YouTube channel with you?
So it's a bit of like a double answer, because my very, very first interview, like ever, was very spur of the moment, very on the go, filmed on my phone with no audio, no lights, no nothing. But my proper first interview that was actually done with in collaboration with my local promotion back at home, that's a whole different story. But the first one filmed on my phone, literally while like passing him by, was Wade Barrett, which is an amazing first interview to have with anyone. Like, he's still one of my all-time favorites. I have immense respect for him. He's super sweet and he's a breeze to talk to and work with. But my first proper interview with the lights and with the microphones and everything was Ultramantis Black, which is also amazing. Like, that's a legend. And that happened in Moscow, Russia. Like, before Russia got really bad, he would come there often to wrestle, and he had friends there. And there's like a big vegan community surrounding the wrestling scene in Moscow, so he's vegan as well. And it's adjacent to the hardcore music scene and everything, so it was a whole thing. But he wrestled on that show, and that was my first time collaborating with that home promotion that became my home promotion back at home. And that was my first time doing like an actual interview, because we were trying to figure out what I could do for them, because my channel was growing and they wanted to do something together. So we just kind of came up with, yeah, let's see you do interviews. And it's also a bit of a funny story, if you don't mind me rambling too
No,
much.
absolutely, we love it.
But I, like I said, was just starting out. I didn't have a crew. I didn't have anything. It was just me. So I brought two of my friends, and one of them is a wrestling fan, and he is now on the commentary team for that same promotion. So he also started doing wrestling things since then. But my other friend is my best friend to this day. She's my best friend, but she's not a wrestling fan. And I've tried to get her into it countless times, but sometimes you just have to give up. Sometimes you just have to accept that it's not for some people. She doesn't want to watch it. That's fine. But she's a great friend, so she wanted to help me film. So I brought them. And we're backstage, we're setting up for our interview. And, Ultramantis Black is a masked wrestler. So he's kind of preparing for the interview. He's changing, he takes off his mask. So for any wrestling fan, your knee-jerk reaction is to look away. So that's what me and my wrestling friend do. But my best friend is just standing there like, just staring at him. And I was like, girl, stop staring. And she was like, oh, is this the guy that we're interviewing? And I was like, what do you think? Like, yes, the jacked guy with sleeve tattoos with a Christmas theme, wearing a gold mantis mask, is the wrestler that we're interviewing. What do you think? So it was funny, but he was very sweet. He was great. And I'm so happy I got this, as my first interview. And that's something that I'm, proud to say whenever I'm asked. I think it's super cool.
So how long did you spend with that home promotion in Russia? Do you still do things with them?
I don't do things with them anymore, because I haven't been back to Russia in a long while, in like 4 years or more. But I'm in contact with a bunch of people from that promotion, because they become my friends.
Yeah.
So whenever any brave soul from here wants to wrestle in Russia, I put them in contact. I'm like, I will give you the contact. You do what you want with it. I don't recommend going there right now, obviously. But the wrestling is a separate thing from any politics, from any societal changes and everything. Like people just love wrestling, and they're trying to make it their living. They're trying to build that industry, because in Russia it's very young still. Like the oldest wrestling promotion, which is my home promotion, IWF Russia in Moscow, it's young. Like the oldest promotion in the country is younger than me. It's like 20 something years old. So it's crazy to see it grow and flourish the way that it has. Like they have proper pay-per-views now, they have all these collaborations, all these sponsors. It's super cool to see. So I am in contact still with a lot of those people. I spent a pretty long time there working with them, and I did a bunch of things for them. I did the interviews, the sit-down interviews, the backstage interviews. I did some game shows for them, a lot of things. So it was a fun time. And while working with them, I got to interview a bunch of international wrestlers. Like I said, Ultramantis Black, Lord Di Matteo, Red Scorpion from Italy, a bunch of Indian wrestlers, because IWF is in a close relationship with Wrestle Square India, which is also an amazing slice of culture to take a look at in terms of wrestling. So it was a very good experience.
Very cool. So I guess the question is, with all your interviews, and you don't have to answer this, but it's going to be one that I'm sure a lot of people want to know. Who's been the worst interview?
Oh, man.
Now, again, you don't have to answer. I know I'm putting you on the spot here because that's kind of what I do.
You could hit at it though.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
hint.
I'm not gonna name drop at anyone. But I will say that like obviously it's almost a given when you're an interviewer that you don't necessarily agree with everything that the interviewee says, right? But sometimes it reaches a certain point where you're like, should I be platforming this, or like, should I put a subtitle that says Xenia that doesn't agree with opinions expressed in this interview? And I've had to do this before multiple times. But one person earlier on in my career, and I'm not going to say who it is, but it was back in Russia, and he's not Russian, he's actually Canadian. But I don't know how it even went to those topics, because I never asked, but he somehow started talking about like how the global warming is not real, how like people are like too nice to animals these days, and they're rescuing puppies instead of having kids. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm very green. Like I've only been interviewing for like under a year at that point, so like I don't know how to control the situation efficiently enough. So I'm just there, kind of like. And then in post-production, I, like I said, put a subtitle that we don't agree with the opinions expressed in this video.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was going to say, Tom, it's awful nice that Bret Hart let her interview him.
No, I'm sure
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it is always funny because, you know, obviously, you know, I mentioned before the show, JR and I and Ace, we live in Minnesota, so we are very close to Canada. And if I ever heard a Canadian spouting off like that on some stuff, it'd be like, hey, hold on. Hey, man, what part of Canada are you actually from? Because I don't know. I don't hear a lot of that kind of stuff from up north. But
yeah. No, I love Minnesota. I love Minneapolis. Like I was in touch with the local scene for a little bit. I have a lot of friends there. I'm a big fan of Super Thunder Frog.
Yes.
So, okay, one of my favorite wrestlers, the God of Thunder and Sweet Buttermilk and everything. Like we love that. So I went to a bunch of first wrestling shows and some other local shows. I have a lot of friends in the area, so it's a very good place for wrestling and also very good people. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, there is a lot of people in the scene that you know, we've obviously got to know not only from this show, but us just going to shows or some of those Minnesota wrestlers working with our promotions that we're friends with and working with down in Iowa. So yeah, we definitely understand that. I do believe we probably maybe even crossed paths a few times, just didn't know each other, or especially if any of the WrestlePaloozas at First Avenue, it is so very hard to actually, first of all, stop and talk to people because you're either getting pushed towards the ring or towards the bar.
Craziness. Yeah.
Right. Or if you're upstairs, you're too far away to actually, you know, or you see somebody like, oh, I gotta go talk to that person. And then by the time you get down there, they're gone. So good luck.
My first WrestlePalooza was such a surreal experience. It was amazing. At that show, I got photographed by one of my favorite wrestling photographers of all time on film. Like, I'm such a geek when it comes to wrestling photography. I love it so much. I think it's such a beautiful art form, and especially film photography. So Brainbuster took some pictures of me at that show, and I was just on cloud nine. I was so honored. And then at that same show, I think I met Thunderfrog for the first time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the beauty of what I do is that some wrestlers are familiar and have seen my videos and everything, so I don't have to necessarily even introduce myself. So I kind of come up to him and I'm like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." And he just like interrupts me. He goes like, "Queen, you're here!" And we just kind of run run to each other. And he gave me a shirt. It was beautiful. No notes. Wonderful experience.
That's
let me
super
ask-
good to hear.
Let me ask you this, because and this is a little bit as a side topic, okay? Because
Okay.
your Xenia did that is it's not all wrestling, so
Yeah.
folks know it's not all wrestling. And you do a lot of other commentary and social influencing and content production. So what? This is a two-part question. Part one: what is your, other than the wrestling, what is your favorite thing to talk about and make content about? And
Mhm.
two would be, what is the most popular thing other than wrestling that you do with Xenia did that?
My favorite thing other than wrestling is honestly a no-brainer. Like I always say, it's my second biggest love after wrestling. It's food.
Okay.
I'm a huge foodie, and for me, that's not about satisfying hunger. For me, this is about experiencing cultures, meeting people, experiencing different things, and I just think it's so beautiful, and I love making food content. I wish I got to do it more. When I was more of a traditional blogger situation, I used to do it more, and I used to work with my local restaurants back at home, and I also live in Spain part-time, so I also did a bunch of stuff there. And also, fun fact, I don't know who's gonna find that fact fun, maybe other people who like food, but I've been to so many places. I've been to over 20 countries, and
Mm.
Japan included. And the best sushi I've ever had is at a tiny stand at the market in Spain. And the guy who owns it is a Michelin star chef, and he's German. He's not even Spanish or Japanese,
Oh,
but he has his secret recipe for how he dresses the rice. And then obviously it's in the market, so it's very, very fresh caught fish. So it's just incredible. It's insanity. So, and I have a long form video about it on my YouTube channel, so people can check it out if they're also interested in seeing that. But yeah, that's my biggest love. In terms of what's popular outside of wrestling, I've honestly kind of trapped myself in the wrestling bubble. Like I've noticed that every time that I try to make something that doesn't have to do with wrestling, it doesn't perform as well.
mm.
So I've definitely my audience that I've accumulated is definitely very, very wrestling. And also another part of this answer would be the answer that any woman on the internet would give you is the less clothes I'm wearing in the post, the more popular it is, which I'm not even like this kind of person, like, which nothing wrong with that, like, but I'm not like an OnlyFans, like whatever kind of person. But yeah, if I'm at the beach, yeah, this post is gonna be very popular.
Surprisingly, when Tom and I put more clothes on, we're more popular.
Speak for yourself, JR.
Let's trade. Let's switch.
Well, so, and again, Whitney's saying that she's working on trying to get back on with us, and you met her just briefly there, at least saw her briefly. We do a segment on here normally after the guest is gone, where it's Whitney giving us some of the messages that she gets from
Man.
people on the internet. Obviously, I say people, we all know that they are the creeps of the internet world.
They are male.
Oh, they are male. Yeah, they a lot of them have problems that they don't care to ever address, but I'll leave it at that. But it has been one where some of the things that she has shared with us, we are all baffled and confused as the men on this show, because
Yeah.
I do not understand that at all.
Yeah, and I don't know like what kind of result they're looking for. I can't imagine that's ever worked on anyone. So not sure what the goal is there. If you gave me a heads up, I would have prepared the little selection for you guys, because I definitely have a collection at this point.
Well, now I almost feel like we got to invite you back then sometime. Just be like, all right, so
Yeah, I'm
Whitney,
down.
we've heard all yours. Now Z is going to be back on. We're going to get some of those, because I can only imagine, again, with your vast influence on the world of wrestling itself. I mean, we've all seen wrestling fans at indie shows and WWE, AEW, all of these fans. Some of them are not. They're not the
Socialized
most.
properly.
There you go. That's a very nice way of putting that right there.
You could even almost say domesticated.
they're feral. Let's just say.
Yes, yes.
These are all correct terms for exactly what I was trying to get to. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate the help on that one.
So
And don't worry. A lot of these people who are maybe watching this thinking that, oh, well, Tom's just speaking ill of wrestling fans. They all know how I feel about them. They are generally miserable people who I don't try to interact with, but this is the life I chose. What can I
No,
say?
I've met so many great people and wonderful friends through wrestling. Like, obviously, we're just talking about this very particular sub audience. Like, obviously, we're not talking about all wrestling fans.
Oh, no,
And
I'm
not
talking
to,
about all
not to
wrestling
be
fans.
the not all man person, which I'm never that kind of person. But we're definitely not talking about all wrestling.
Oh, no. 90% of all wrestling fans are absolute terrible people, in my opinion. I don't really care if they don't like me. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Because we got like comments like this from Dan, who's a miserable person himself, saying, please say your worst interview was me. She's not interviewing me. We're interviewing her, Dan. Get a clue. Come on.
So, Xenia, have you mentioned before we started that you're a pretty big fan of AEW.
Yes.
Have you gone on one of the Jericho cruises?
Not yet. I really want to eventually, but I know I haven't been to one yet. But I have a lot of friends who went, obviously. And last time I was talking to someone who did go, he was like, "You think it's a wrestling cruise? No, it's an alcohol cruise, and wrestling is there."
It's you know what? They bill it as the best vacation you'll ever have, and boy, it really is so much fun.
I believe that. Yeah.
And we've been trying to get Whitney to go. I went the first time last year and just absolutely am like, I got to go again because it goes by so fast and there's so much fun and stuff to do. And so many people. I like one of the things that you do with your brand to bring people together. That's what this is. Yeah, there's alcohol, and
Sure,
yeah, some
it's
people drink too much.
community. Yeah.
But
It's community
but
building, and it's so important in wrestling. And it's something that sometimes even the biggest promotions in the world lose sight of. Like, ultimately, that's what's gonna bring you fans. That's what's gonna bring you views. That's what's gonna bring you ticket sales. Like, ultimately, this is what people buy the tickets for. Like, yes, there's a product. Yes, there's a performance. But ultimately, people want that belongingness. People want to be a part of something bigger than them, of something good. So, 100%, the cruise is a very good example of that community building.
And I think, Tom, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there are three people that I think actually made their mark, if you will, by being on the cruise, and that was Harley Cameron and the Outrunners. And their fan base grew immensely from being on the cruise because they were there hanging out with everybody, having a good time.
Yeah. Again, from experience, I've only been on the last two cruises, but yeah, the interactions. I mean, Harley Cameron, I think that's the whole thing. She's been basically named the MVP of the last two cruises because of one, she wants to engage with people. She's in character. She's the first year I went was a couple years ago, and she was one of the judges for the belly flop competition. So she's in character, really ridiculing these guys, and it's, again, it's the typical wrestling fan. It's a lot of, white, overweight males. And so she's right on cue. And it's her and Prince Nana who is just giving all these guys a hard time. And, it's great, though, but because she's also funny and she's personal and she's really enjoying herself being able to be the character and no one's getting mad about it. Because, at the time, a few years ago, again, she was not necessarily the name she is now. But again, now that she's blown up and she's becoming much more popular, she's expanded now. She's out of the puppets, so the ventriloquist stuff is hilarious, and she did some of that on the ship too. So it's just been fun to see where people's kind of characters meld into their real life and who they are and how they want to interact with, especially fans when you're all on a boat and you can't get away from them. That's, I think, a real tell.
Yeah, for sure. And what I can say from my media experience is organic or natural growth is very difficult to achieve, and it's very rare that it happens to that extent. But when it does happen, there's nothing stronger than that organic growth. And that's something that happened to Becky Lynch. That's something that happened to Caitlyn before her. And this is something that's happening to Harley Cameron and the Outrunners right now. Like, when there's this natural drive and natural attraction from the audience, you cannot fight it. It's unstoppable. And that's a blessing. Like that's exactly what any kind of public person wants. So she's got that going for her. And like you said, she's amazing. She's so personable. She's so charismatic, and she's so multi-talented. She's so talented. She can do anything. It's crazy. So I'm excited to see her, rise to superstardom, because that's going to happen for sure.
We're
Dan
just,
just saying-
I can't read and talk at the same time.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, Dan was just saying that pre-cruise 2, no one knew MJF before. With the third cruise, Britt Baker was not much of a name. So yeah, that's very true. I mean, some of these wrestlers, especially the evolution of the Jericho cruise and where their career ends up going. Obviously, MJF, that second cruise became basically the heel of all heels as far as AEW goes, and then being thrown into the pool there on the cruise. I mean, one brilliant idea on that one.
So, Xenia, at this point in AEW, and I'm going to choose that promotion because it's your favorite,
Okay.
who would you say are your personal favorite male and female wrestlers at this time?
My personal favorite male wrestler is injured at this time and not actively performing, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, is Trent, which I know is a pretty unconventional pick. But I genuinely believe he's super underrated. He's the full package. He has the look, he has the in-ring, he can talk in his very particular manner, which is maybe not the traditional pro skill that we're looking for in the wrestler, but he can talk and he's so funny. And it's just like, he needs something. And it's such a shame that he got injured right after he started his singles run, right after, the rebrand and the new gear and the new logo and everything. I was so excited for it. So it's very unfortunate that he's not on our screens right now. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for his return. At one point, he tweeted, like randomly out of nowhere, "Oh, Dynamite tonight, this and this time," when he never has done that before. And I was like, oh. But no, he didn't appear on the Dynamite. I guess he just randomly decided to finally promote the promotion that he signed to, which is good on him. I support that as a media professional. But yeah, I'm very excited for him to come back, hopefully soon. And my favorite female wrestler is also my favorite wrestler anywhere, not just in AEW, is Taya Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following her career for a while. And, we used to get compared a lot in terms of looks, I think, because of this, but now she grew it out, so no more family resemblance there. But it's just a mixture of styles, honestly, that she brings. Like, it's crazy. She's, again, as a white Canadian girl, she's gone through this rigorous training in the Mexican scene, and she has the lucha in her, she has the joshi in her, and like I've seen her wrestle like a perfect TV match, but I've also seen her wrestle a death match in a barn and like waterboard a guy 3 times her size, Pharaoh, that was. She's just so versatile, and she's so intense with anything that she does. Anything that she is tasked with or wants to do, she gives it her all, and it's very evident and visible. She's one of my absolute favorite wrestlers ever.
I'm going to ask you for an opinion, and this may or may not have to do with anything, and you can, if I'm being foolish, please tell me. So, as a native Russian,
okay,
what do you think about Miro and his wife, not wife, whatever they are at the moment?
Yeah. I love them so much. Like, I met them several times, and every time I see CJ, we speak Russian to each other. And every time she gets worse at it. Like, the longer she talks to Americans and hangs out with Americans, the more she loses her Russian, which is fine. But it's like she wants to speak Russian to me. Like, I'm not forcing her, But it was really great. Like, when I met her for the first time, we talked for a while about her like upbringing, like in her Russian family, and like her, the C and CJ standing for Catherine, but like the Russian version of it is Katya, and that like everyone would call her Katya growing up, and how she used to do ballet and had this like strict Russian teacher and everything. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's a very like it's a ground for connection, obviously, right? And
Absolutely.
It's so funny that when they first got signed with WWE, and for some reason, like with the way that they presented themselves as a Russian, I thought that it was Miro who actually spoke Russian and was more like Slavic, and that she didn't, because she comes across very American, right?
Yes.
Like, she looks American. I don't know what exactly I mean by that, but she just looks American. And whenever he would wrestle and she would throw in like phrases in Russian, like, oh, like, come on, or like, get up, like this kind of stuff, I always thought that she just learned those phrases. So when I met her for the first time and we full on started speaking Russian to each other, I was very surprised. And Miro doesn't actually speak Russian, which is interesting. But yeah, I really love them. But when the whole like storyline with like the Russian flag and the star medal and everything was going on in Russia, it was insanity. Like every like Russian fan, like a wrestling fan, was finding it hilarious. Like it was just so funny, so ridiculous, so like out of touch with any reality whatsoever. But then, you know, like Russia and America are historically, well, not necessarily rivals, but competitors, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of propaganda on TV, on the news. So they're always kind of like picking at each other and finding things to attack each other for. So when they did the whole segment with the Russian flag, and then it dropped, and then someone like stepped on it or something, it was on the news in Russia. They were
Wow.
like American wrestlers defacing the Russian flag. It was crazy. It was a crazy time to be a Russian wrestling fan. But on the professional level and on the personal level, if I may say so, I adore CJ, and I respect, admire Miro's work as well. I think they're great.
Do you feel like when they went, well, first of all, when Miro moved up, and I'm just going to say this, I feel like the end of their run at WWE was straight garbage,
Right.
because they're both so much better than that. But
I
then
agree.
when Miro went over to AEW, I absolutely loved the Redeemer. Do you feel like somehow he was misused? And then when they sort of brought CJ over to do whatever that was, it seemed like they just didn't know what to do with both of them.
I think a lot of the like development of the storyline got hindered by real life stuff. Because I think the idea was for them to reunite and for her to turn on Andrade and to side with Miro again. But then I think she had some health problems. And then, Andrade wanted to jump ship, and then Miro wanted to jump ship and go back to WWE. So I think it just got disrupted by all of that. Like, I think if they got to actually let this play out, it would have been something good. But yeah, unfortunately, whenever she came to AEW, it was very chaotic and then didn't live up to its full potential for sure.
Yeah.
Now, quick question. Obviously, mentioning Russia and everything like that too. Miro or Rusev was more kind of the first time we ever really saw a Russian in the modern era be a bad guy. Have you gone back and looked at any of the old Soviet heels from, especially the 80s with the Cold War era? And
But also,
how
like,
do you feel about that?
but also, am I that old? Are we not counting Vladimir Kozlov as the modern era anymore?
Well, okay, that's fair. That is fair. But also the way they kind of portrayed Rusev the whole way through was still more of a heel until maybe like Rusev Day stuff.
Yeah.
Vladimir Kozlov to me was kind of more. They brought him as a heel, and then somewhere along the way he smiled, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's not so bad." And I don't know what happened.
And that's how meeting any Russian person would go for you. Like,
That's no.
oh, this big scary person. Oh, they smiled. Okay, we're good. Like that's literal like life. If you meet the Russian person, but and the funny part about Rusev portraying like a Russian heel in the modern era is he's not even Russian.
Right.
And he never even pretended to be. Like he always had the Bulgarian flag on his gear. He has a Bulgarian flag tattooed on him, for God's sake. Like he was never Russian, and he never pretended to be. But I guess for Americans, it's all the same thing. In terms of how I feel about it, like again, almost none of those people are actually Russian. Even CJ is not Russian. Like she was born in the Soviet Union, so that was part of Russia, quote, or Russia was part of it rather.
Right.
But I think she was born in Latvia or something like that. So like she's not Russian either, even though she like her family members are Russian and they speak Russian. I think the only legitimately Russian person that was ever signed to WWE, never actually debuted on the main roster, was just very briefly in NXT, is Anya Zova, her name is.
Yep.
She does comedy now. She does stand up, talk about the overlap.
She was on the cruise.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's wonderful. I love her so much. I've never met her in real life, but we've been following each other for a while. But she's great. But she was the only like Russian person from Russia who was ever in any capacity signed to WWE. Like none of those like old timey Soviet heels were, again, even remotely Russian. Vladimir Kozlov isn't Russian, he's Ukrainian. So like it's a whole thing. I don't feel in any way bad or offended about it at all. Like if that's gonna make you feel any better, in Russia we have people pretending to be American and being heels. So it's only fair.
See, Tom,
Sign me up.
you've got a place to go to work your magic. It's called Russia.
Yeah.
They'll love me there. They'll hate me. They'll hate me for sure. Hey, look who's here, everybody. And we still can't hear. Oh man.
You just said a word with F in it. I could read her.
Like that's
I could read her lips.
She's trying to say
We
something to
can't
us.
see that either.
All right. Well,
she'll come back.
No, the funny thing about my work in wrestling is that I get to be the foreign heel almost anywhere. Because I've done all kinds of presenting and managing here in America, so I'm the evil Russian witch, bitch, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And then in Spain, I've done some managing, and I'm also a foreign heel there. And I actually managed a tag team where one guy is from the Dominican Republic and the other guy's from Colombia. So they are also foreign heels, even though they do speak Spanish as their first language. So I got all the what chants from the Spanish audience as well. So it's just a very organic thing for me to do,
So how much time do you spend in Spain versus here in the US?
About like half and half, about 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And,
And not to give it, but what's your favorite part of Spain and living over there?
Part as in like geographically, or favorite part about
geographically, culturally, everything. I'm
don't give us too much
curious.
information because we got weird people on the internet. So don't say too much about
don't tell us where you live.
In
But
Spain.
Geographically, my favorite part is probably Barcelona, because there's a lot of wrestling there. And again, like the Spanish wrestling scene is not the biggest yet. They also got very like chopped down by COVID, unfortunately, because they experienced a lot of growth right before COVID hit, and then obviously they couldn't have events regularly, so unfortunately damaged the scene a lot. But there's so many talented people in Spain, and I'm so glad that with Raw having taken place just recently in Barcelona, actually, that a lot of my Spanish wrestler friends got to do extra work. Another fun story: a lot of them got hurt while trying to catch Tiffany doing her dive. It's insane. Like the way they're telling me about it, you would think they were catching Big Show, because I don't know what they even did to get hurt so bad. Because one person tore their bicep, one person busted their lip, and one person broke their foot just catching that one dive from Tiffany Stratton. It's like, what happened there? Like, I don't know. But they still had fun. They still had a good time, I guess. So it's good to see them get that opportunity. And also we are beginning to see a lot of Spanish, and when I say Spanish, I mean Spanish grown, like people who came from the Spanish wrestling scene on the international stage. Like, for example, Josiah has been doing a lot of shows in England, for example, and he's incredible. And he's so young. He's like 20 something. He's like 22 or something. And he's so good. It's insanity. And we've been seeing my very good friend Carlos Romo on some GCW shows over the years. So that's been great to see as well. And he's actually the original tag team partner of A-Kid, aka Axiom. And they, like, those two people, A-Kid and Carlos Romo, were actually pretty much the first professional wrestlers in the country, like the first people who could actually do it full time, who could actually make a living from it, who jump started the training system. Like they're legends already at like 30-ish years old, which is also amazing to witness. So I'm rooting for that scene every day. Like, I'm a big supporter of the Spanish wrestling scene. But I also like Barcelona for other reasons too, because there's great food, and I'm also a big art nerd, and there's a lot of museums in Barcelona. And I actually have like a bunch of art-themed tattoos, and a sculpture that they have tattooed on me by my favorite artist is in Barcelona, and I saw it there recently. This one.
Nice.
This is a sculpture called Woman and Bird, and it's huge, and it's in Barcelona. And this artist, his name is Joan Miró, He, is from Barcelona, but he used to live, like his last years, he lived in Mallorca, where I live. So you can visit his studio, and there's like his artworks are everywhere. Like at a lot of museums, a lot of exhibitions. Like there's murals, there's mosaics. Like it's just scattered all over the island. It's awesome.
Very nice. Love that exposure too. Do you have a favorite tattoo, by the way? Obviously, you got a lot there
I
on the
think
right
this
arm.
one might be actually. It's hard to pick one. Like I used to count them because like when you first start getting tattoos, you're so giddy about it, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm so excited. I have 10, now I have 15. I've
Right.
now officially lost count because it's turning into more of a sleeve, and
Uh-huh.
I've gotten some like gap filler too, and like these things are fragments from Keith Haring's artworks. These little
Hmm.
things. And I wanted to get more like art related tattoos in the future as well. I think this one might be the favorite, but I don't know. I really like my Randy the Gator too.
Oh, very cool. Very nice. Very stylish too. Like,
Thank you.
not necessarily all in one theme, but I appreciate the I
It's
appreciate
eclectic for sure.
yeah, no, I appreciate that.
My mom calls me a fridge with magnets with the way that I get tattoos. And I have
Wow.
gotten my tattoos all over the place in different states, in different countries. So it's a
Right.
whole thing too. I am a fridge with magnets. And I always thought it would be like a half sleeve. And then when I wanted to get the alligator, I wanted to get it in this traditional style that you see. And I found this amazing artist here in Orlando. I really want to shout him out, but I can't remember his handle on Instagram, unfortunately. Ghost Mountain. That's
Hmm.
his Instagram nickname. He's absolutely amazing. Like I feel like when we think of like the traditional tattoo style, we think of like burly old man bikers and stuff like that. So coming
Yep.
in for the consultation, I was a little nervous, but his energy is amazing. Like we sat down for the consultation, and in my mind, I was like, I will trust this man with my life. Like he can tell me anything, and I will
There
trust
you go.
him. And he said that for this style, it kind of has to be a certain size. Like it can't be small. So it didn't necessarily fit in the gap that I had imagined for it. So now it's going down my arm. So now that this has happened, I'm like, okay, now I need a full sleeve. So so that's where we're at right now.
It's a smart decision, but also I feel like your mother's comment is the only kind of comment that a mom can make in that situation. I feel like there's a
True,
lot of
true.
like, oh, parents just don't understand. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's one of them.
Yeah, I
If
got
you're
my
ever saying
again
something.
another story, and I'm sidetracking majorly, but I got my first tattoo in Las Vegas the same weekend that AW had their first ever show, the first Double or Nothing in 2019.
Nice.
And I wanted a tattoo so bad. I don't know. I was terrified for some reason. I don't know who told me that it was gonna hurt like immensely, which it didn't, obviously. But I got my first tattoo. I have like an alien face on my lower back,
Mm.
and that's like it has a lot of significance. A lot of my silly tattoos have a lot of significance because my name Xenia, it's a Greek name, and it like roughly translates to wanderer or traveler or alien, which is very true to my character, and that's why I got the alien. And I like full on hid it from my parents for like a good year, I think. And then once I finally showed it to them, they were so shocked because I'm usually such a scaredy cat and I don't do well with pain. Like I have a really low pain tolerance. And now it's almost like a running joke where I always say that I'm afraid of needles. And then it's so ridiculous because I'm covered in tattoos and then I have lip fillers and everything. Obviously, it's not no secret to anyone. And I just sit there like, I'm afraid of needles. And everyone's like, are you really? But I am. Just because I do it doesn't mean I'm not scared in the process.
Well, so what I know about this, because I know a lot of guys who are people who have gotten full sleeve tattoos, both arms, and they're still afraid of needles. But what it is it's more seeing the actual needle itself and then going
Right.
in. That seems to be the problem for a lot of people. It's not so much, like the pricking of it. It's just
The
more
fact of a
seeing it go
needle.
in,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially
And
when it's a bigger needle.
when I get tattoos, I don't think of it as a needle at all. Just because, like, yeah, I can't really see it, and there's the vibration, and it kind of like it doesn't feel or look or anything like a needle. But that's also why I'm terrified of stick and poke tattoos, and I don't think I'll ever get a stick and poke tattoo. That looks horrifying to me. Like I would never.
It is a bit terrifying. I don't have one myself. I have thought about it, but it's also a very, very long process. And I've had plenty of tattoos that take multiple hours or multiple days. And just to sit through one of those,
Yeah.
Not
One of the
necessarily.
wrestlers from my home promotion back in Russia, her name is Piper, just Piper, nothing else. She also does stick and poke tattoos, and she's tattooed a bunch of the wrestlers in the promotion, obviously. And one of the girls has like a stick and poke tattoo that's literally like this big, and it's
Wow.
Holy,
like, how many hours did that take? And why? More importantly, you know, and it's beautiful. It looks great, but like, I can't imagine sitting there for hours, getting slowly and deliberately poked by one singular needle. Like that's stuff of nightmares for me.
Yeah, that seems excessive.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, we're at 45 minutes. Should we do rapid fire, even though it's
Let's
just the
do
two of us?
rapid fire. It is.
All right. I have to. We pay so much money, Xenia, for these intros that if I don't do them, I feel bad.
Get ready for the rapid fire speed round.
Guess how much that cost?
I don't know, but I mean, hey, it's a good intro.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So
JR even lost count of how much it cost. Actually, that's why he asked.
I've been blowing so much money on this stuff. It's crazy. By the way, this might be interesting for you to know. Our intro song is done by Nerd D. I don't know if you're
Yes.
Are you familiar with Nerd D?
Of course, yes.
Hell yes. He did that. He did our song. He and DJ Hayes. And we're always proud to say that they were, was it Grammy or Emmy Award winning?
They're Emmy Award nominees.
Yeah. So super cool. And Nerd D's been on with us many times. We found this out after because we went to one of the AEW shows. We were sitting with him, and my son says, "I think I went to high school with that guy." And they did. They went to the same high school. Didn't even recognize. Anyway. That's not a rapid fire question at all, is it? All right. Here's the first one. What do you think, Tom? Should we do 4 each?
Yeah, let's do 4 each.
4 each.
I don't think we're going to get Whitney back on, so we can't do the Tom game today, but we'll do a couple of these, and then well, thank you for your time. We'll get some social medias from you, and then be on your way as you will. But yeah, a couple of rounds here, and then yeah, have some fun with it.
First question. Who have you not interviewed that you would absolutely give anything to do an interview with?
Tony Khan, for sure, 100%. It's a no-brainer question. Like, I would just love to pick his brain. Like, I need to know what was happening when he got the idea for AEW, when it came to be, like, what was his thought process, what were the challenges. Like, I just want to pick his brain because literally, I think even people who don't like AEW will admit that it's changed the landscape, it's changed the scene. And it's challenged WWE majorly, and it's made WWE get better as well. And it's created all these jobs and all these opportunities to actually get paid good money for wrestlers as well. Because it used to be WWE where you can make a living or nothing, or keep your day job, you know? So it's amazing what he has already done for the wrestling scene. So for no-brainer, like that's my dream interview for sure.
Very cool. So obviously you're a world traveler. Multiple different locations. What's been low key one of the areas you've gone to that you did not think you're going to enjoy as much as you did?
Good question. I don't know. Like, there's definitely some that I ended up enjoying way more than I thought I would. Like, I went to China many times because I used to work for a company that was like part Chinese. It was like a co-owned Chinese Russian company. It was like a tech company. I'm not a tech person. I was just working the conferences and doing the public speaking part of it, which I'm good at. But I think a lot of people like dream of Japan or Korea, but not a lot of people are that fascinated with China. And I never really knew much about China before going there, but it ended up becoming one of my absolute favorite places. Like, the food is fantastic. Like, that's my favorite food. Chinese food is my favorite of all anything. And the architecture is so beautiful. And I mean both the historical things and the new things. Like, you see the craziest like skyscrapers and structures, but then they have these insane, like hundreds and hundreds of years old, like Buddhist temples. And they're just insane. Like, there's one in Shanghai. I think it's like one of the largest ones in the country. And it's fully made out of wood. And it was actually located somewhere else before. And they disassembled it, brought it to Shanghai and assembled it again. And you would be even more shocked if you could imagine just like the sheer size of it. Like I couldn't tell you how big it is, but it's so like huge. And it's like this wooden structure that's like 800 years old, just perched right next to a huge skyscraper and a super modern looking mall. It's absolutely crazy. Like one of the things we would hear a lot, like in the tech industry, but I think that encapsulates anything that happens in China is if you want to see the future now, you should go to China. It's crazy the kind of technology they have there and the kind of like just overall way of doing things. It's just absolutely mind blowing.
Very good. So are you a pet person? Do you have a dog or a cat? Do you prefer a dog over a cat or anything like that?
I don't have a pet currently, but I used to have a dog. And I have a very strong opinion of this. I'm a very, very dedicated dog person. Like, I am not a cat person in any way, shape, or form. And that's not just because I'm allergic to cats. I also don't really like them that much. Like, I like all animals. Like, I would never feel like negatively, towards an animal. But I'm very, very majorly dog person. Like, I cannot imagine choosing between a dog and a cat and going like, this fun, fluffy creature that loves me like no man ever will, versus this little gremlin that kind of hates me but tolerates me because I give it fish face. Like, I cannot imagine taking the latter.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, you saying that, I'm so glad Ace and Whitney were not here. They're both huge cat people.
Who would fight?
I'm just going to actually mark it down. We could probably play a Tom game just off of that answer alone. They'd probably want to be your opponents right there.
There
I
you
can
go.
guarantee that.
Quick follow up though. What kind of dog did you have?
A Labrador.
Okay.
The ultimate freaking good guy dog. Like, he was so great. He was so smart and just a wonderful dog. Like, if there was ever anything that I loved more than wrestling ever in my life, it was that dog.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. So again, obviously you're well traveled. You've seen a lot of these different promotions, the major leagues, the indies and stuff. What's been your favorite venue you've seen a show at?
I want to give you like simultaneously like 20 answers to this. Daly's Place is definitely one of the favorites. Like, it's so significant for any AEW fan, and like I have a favorite seat in that venue. Like, that's the one right on the corner between the ramp and the ringside. That's the best seat in the house. That's my favorite. And I've seen so many shows there, and I stayed in Jacksonville for very long chunks of time in my life. I spent a lot of time in Jacksonville, especially like right after the pandemic when AEW were doing shows there regularly. And I also filmed the only interview that I ever filmed inside of Daly's Place was with my favorite tag team of all time, which is Best Friends, Trent and Chuck. So it's very special. Another very special one that is not active anymore is the Carousel Room in New Jersey in Showboat. That was such also a significant venue for GCW, but also for the deathmatch and hardcore wrestling scene on the whole. And it's photographed so beautifully. It is just so beautiful. So it's a shame that they can't use it for wrestling anymore because they converted it into an arcade. What do you know? But I miss it. When they converted it, there was an article that someone made where they gathered all the like fan memories and pictures and everything, and it was very sentimental. Another really cool one is Globe Theater, obviously, in LA. And I'm so happy that I got to witness a PWG show at the Globe Theater. Only once, but I got to do it. It was like a bucket list thing for me to see PWG at the Globe Theater, and I flew out to LA specifically to do that a couple of years ago. So, currently PWG unfortunately is not active. Hopefully there will be a comeback, but it's a cradle of any wrestling superstar that you can name right now. And I saw, Bandito wrestle in that venue. I saw, it's just amazing. I saw Aleister Black and Brody King wrestle in that venue. And, technically they're still PWG Tag Team Champions, I think. So that was amazing. I don't know. There's a lot of venues that I have a very like soft spot for.
So
Awesome.
I'm going to steal one of Ace's questions. He asks everybody this question.
Okay.
And since he's not here, I feel like we should honor his non-presence. So, if you're traveling to a wrestling show and you're riding with a group of folks, you can pick 3, living or dead, that you would want to ride in that car with.
That is such a tough question. What the hell? Can we have like a bus with like 30 people in there?
No, only 3. Sorry,
Oh,
you got to limit it.
no.
27 of your closest friends just to make this work.
No, I'm gonna ditch all of my real life friends. What are you talking about?
There we go. That's the spirit.
um, I mean, if we're talking, dead or alive, I think I would definitely pick China. Like, she's
Mhm.
just someone who's done so much for women in wrestling specifically, and she's such an icon. And I would love to, in an imaginary world, to be able to meet her and talk to her and spend some time with
Yeah.
her. Who's next? Pentagon, maybe.
Oh,
Because he has so many stories to tell. I feel like I've watched a bunch of his interviews, and the one he did with Vampiro was amazing. Also, really helped me polish up my Spanish because it's fully in Spanish. And Vampiro's Spanish is freaking insane, but he has like an American accent, which is interesting. Um,
Mm.
but I've gotten to talk to Pentagon a couple times briefly, like after AW shows, and like I said, just the stories that he has, it's insane. Like, I just want to pick his brain for hours because and that's something that he was talking about in the Vampire interview, that when they were starting out, him and Ray Phoenix, um, the only like wrestling show that they could get booked for was like a long train ride away, and the train tickets were expensive. So if they were to pay for the train back that same night, that was more expensive. They would just have nothing left of their booking fee. So they would go and then they would spend the night at the train station and then leave in the morning. And that's just like such crazy like love of the game,
yeah.
and he comes from this like wrestling family. I think their father is or was a wrestler as well, and it's just so interesting. The third person, jeez, I don't know, it's so hard. uh let's say The Miz, because he's one of my
Ah,
all-time favorite wrestlers, and I think he's so like funny and high energy and everything, like, and I just adore him. Like, I've met him a couple times, and those couple times were 10 years apart.
oh wow.
The first time I ever met him was actually in Moscow, Russia.
Really?
And another fun fact is that a meet and greet with The Miz, who's one of my like top 3 favorite wrestlers, top 4 or top 5, I don't know, favorite wrestlers ever. That was my first ever like real life interaction with wrestling on the whole. Like, that
Mm.
was my first ever wrestling event, and it was insane. Like, the crowd, I cannot even describe to you. Like, it was at this huge mall, and like the table in the booth was like smack dab in the middle of like the atrium, the main atrium of the mall, and there was a sea of people. Like, you couldn't see where it ends. It was craziness, and it was so surreal to meet him. And then I met him 10 years later at the WrestleMania Access, and I told him all that and asked him if he remembers Russia and how he felt about it. He said it was a fun experience. It was crazy. I think it was like March or something, and it's cold in Moscow, Russia in March. Let's just say that it's winter still. And he was wearing like just a suit, and they prepared like a mural, like a wrestling themed mural for him to sign outside. And they have those pictures where it's him and his translator, and she's this very stereotypical like middle-aged Russian woman, and she's wearing like a full fur coat and like a giant fur hat, and he's just wearing a suit and he's like covered in every picture. So it was something. And I think he asked them for like some kind of like a Starbucks drink, which we've only had Starbucks in Russia for like maybe 15 years, so like not that long. And another thing about Starbucks outside of America is like it's not very customizable. Like, it's
Mhm.
here you can be like, oh, give me 2 pumps of this like foam and blend it or whatever. If you say that in Russia, they're gonna look at you like you're stupid. So I think he asked for some like very specific drink, and they didn't understand. There was a language barrier, so they ended up bringing him like a slice of cheesecake instead of the coffee. So he was just sitting at his like meet and greet table with a little slice of cake on the corner of it. So yeah, it was something. I'm sure it was even a more chaotic experience for him. Like, I wish I could hear more from him about that experience as well.
Oh, I'm
That's
sure
an
I'm
excellent
sure
three, man.
yeah, I'm sure he would actually tell you he doesn't want to talk about it, but hey, maybe who knows?
No, I'm
Um,
sure it was nice. I'm sure he was glad like so many people showed up, and he was so loved in Russia. I think he still is, but like it was even though he was a heel obviously, but he was just so warmly received. It was something.
I guess sometimes just how the person is, I guess. But so you went to WWE Evolution, the all women's
I
event.
did. Yeah.
if AEW had one that's very similar, an all women's event, what is one matchup that if you could make a match, what would it be? Any stipulation, any female wrestlers on the AEW roster or ROH roster that you can think
Yeah.
of? I mean, I
I
know
would
this
like
is kind of not necessarily quick fire or rapid fire kind of question.
I would like maybe like a hardcore match, maybe with some like gimmicky twist, which I'm not sure of right now, between Toni Storm and Chris Statlander. And that's not just because they're some of my favorites in the company,
Right.
but also because I feel like Toni Storm is like one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. And I feel like Chris Statlander has that potential to be that as well. And I feel like just she hasn't had many chances to show that in the company because, you know, she had some injuries and she had some comebacks. So I think it's not even about how like, oh, she's not appreciated by the company. It's just the way it happened. So I wish I could see her more in the main event picture. And I really enjoyed her in the match that Best Friends had with Keep Sabian and Miro, where they had like the funky, like hardcore stuff, like with the claw machine and all this kind of stuff. So I really like her in those contexts. So I would really want to see her in a hardcore match. I don't know if she wants that.
She might. She's done some stuff with some chairs for sure. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, one more round, and then we'll get you out of here.
Last question for me, Xenia. If we were to peer into that car ride that you were taking with those three folks, what kind of music would you be listening to on the drive?
I feel like we would physically fight each other over what kind of music I'm listening to. Because, like, from the things that I've gathered over the years that I know is that Miz likes pop, and I know he likes Kesha, which I'm very on board with. And then I know Pentagon listens to very much like a Mexican uncle kind of music, which again, cool with me. I don't know about China. I would imagine she's into some more like hardcore stuff, but I would be down with anything. I think that they would just fight each other over that.
All right, very cool. So we're gonna end on this one. If there was your opportunity to get into the ring for a match, who would you want to take on?
Someone that I could take easily, dude. Like someone who would take it easy on me. I'm not a wrestler at all. Like I get those questions so much. We're like, when are you going to wrestle? When are you going to get into the ring? Because I guess people hate to see an almost 6-foot woman go to waste, which is very understandable. But I'm just not. Like I'm so unfit. Like I can barely lift anything heavier than like a camera and a tripod. Like I really couldn't answer that. Man, I don't Stokely Hathaway. I don't know.
That'd be perfect.
I think you could take him. I think you got him.
I think I could, but just by sheer size, like maybe he's lighter than me. Maybe that would be something that I could, use to my advantage.
That's fair. We appreciate the honesty in that one. No shame in that one. No shame at all. No shame at all.
Xenia, so for those of us, for our friends that run promotions here in the Midwest, you are available for bookings to assist with things in shows, correct? And they can find you at Xenia Did That. Right there, you've got it on your name, at Xenia Did That. Please, folks, look her up. She's got a link tree with all of her social media, with everything that she's doing, her YouTube channel, everything. And if you want to have, she's so knowledgeable about wrestling. She's such a fan. You can make use of her, have her come to your promotion. It would be a treat.
And I'm also a communications professional, and something that I offer right now is I offer strategic media guidance for wrestlers and promotions and other wrestling professionals, that being broadcasters, managers, referees, photographers, absolutely anything that has to do with wrestling. And if you want to promote your brand, if you want to capture your target audience and retain them, if you want to scale your income and monetize your online presence, I do a free webinar every Monday at 2 p.m. ET. There's a link in my bio on my socials to sign up for those. And if you're interested in the personal guidance for promotions or individuals, You can book a call with me. You can DM me or email me, or also click a link in my bio. The discovery call is always free. We talk about your goals. We talk about how I can help you. So I just want to spread my knowledge that I've accumulated throughout the years. And I want to help the world of wrestling be bigger and better, and for wrestling professionals to make more money and to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. So reach out to me.
We absolutely are going to reach out to you because Tom is not cutting it right now.
You know
He
what?
got our banner on the AEW Dynamite show, which is a big plus, but
See?
nobody knew what it was. So
hey,
hey,
I mean,
we
it's the
got
first
more
step.
views that week because of it. Damn it! You know, I can never get any respect around here. But
Xenia,
Xenia, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate you.
for
We're
having
going to
me.
definitely have you back on with all 4 of the co-hosts, so we get more broad
And
questions.
with a list of messages from men on the internet.
yes.
You know, honestly, we should have a comparison, you versus Whitney, just to see who gets. Yeah, you're gonna get 1,000 times worse than she is. Like,
You know what we should do? We should have her come with like a little printout and me come with a list, and we should do like I read out one, she reads out one, and you vote which one is worse, and we see who wins.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that is going to be a great. We gotta do this then. We gotta do this. I'm gonna tell Ace to hit you up tomorrow and be like, all right, we gotta get her back on for sure, dude. Fantastic stuff. Thank you again so much. Yeah, Xenia did it that on Instagram, YouTube, X. I was gonna say Twitter, but X. So yeah, anywhere you can find her, follow her, like everything that she does, because again, it's amazing stuff for the wrestling community. We love you. We appreciate you, and thanks again so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a pleasure, and it was fun. I love the questions.
Continued success. Take care until the next time.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Tom, that was fantastic. He is so knowledgeable.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing to me.
Yeah, one obviously the brain for the business of wrestling stuff, the communication style, and having all the intuition on all that stuff works too. Fantastic stuff. We again, super great to have her on. We really appreciate her, and yeah, we'll definitely get her back on probably as soon as we can, because I know Ace is. So just to let everybody know, by the way, Ace is under the weather, and I wish I would have known more yesterday that he was under the weather, because I sat next to him the entirety of Raw, pretty much.
Yeah, you'll be sick.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I want to go back to a couple things, by the way, too. We got Independent DIY right here saying, I already like her more than Whitney. Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Tovar and Audrey, for that. Make sure you give their YouTube a follow. It's great stuff. They're going to come out with some new content soon. Yeah, the Rodney Dangerfield of the Do Count. Not in my own mind. It's the truth. I never get respect. I got no respect.
You're
I'm not going to do anything bad day.
Also, terrible impression.
Well, whatever, dude. You know I'm not an impressionist.
Well, okay.
Ace gave Tom the plague. So here's the thing. Ace gave us the quick rundown that his head is killing him, and he can't talk, and he's whatever. And I asked him if it was Whitney's disease, and he says not Whitney's disease, which I think we should start calling hoof and mouth disease Whitney's disease. Who's with me?
I think you need to leave it go. Leave it
okay,
go.
Fair. That's fair. Death Dealer right there. I'm bummed I missed most of the interview. Well, hey man, it's available on YouTube anytime you want. Go back and check the page out, obviously.
Yeah, once we're done, you can go back and you can watch the entire thing. And by the way, and I do want to ask Xenia, because I'm sure that she's got some type of video editor that she's using to make the TikToks and the Instagrams and that. And I am always trying to find a way that's not as expensive for our things. And so I got something on AppSumo. You familiar with AppSumo, Tom?
A little bit, yeah.
So I got something that's called Kiwi. I haven't had the opportunity to try it yet, but some of the stuff that I've tried from there, because it's not expensive, but it's also not good. But one of the ones that we had, you remember when we had the masked grappler?
Hold on, I gotta make sure that this is pointed out, by the way. So I just started talking to a woman about this, and I meant, or dating wise, if you will. And I actually mentioned about this podcast, and I said that I am the only one that has not necessarily never missed a show. I missed one show in the entirety of me being on the show, and I had to hear about it from you bums for 2 whole weeks. Everybody else that misses shows on the regular. I'm the one who's always here, and I get grief for 2 whole weeks about missing one show. One show. Clearly, we all know who the real draw is then, okay? I'm just going to say it again one more time. Who's the real draw? Top Shelf. You know how it goes. Come on now. Dan's even admitting it. Dan, who, if anybody who does not like me in our fan base, it's Dan.
That's true.
Yeah, see? I know. There's 4 hosts, and he does not like me as much as he likes the other 3 of you. And he's never met Whitney.
Well, yeah.
So there you go.
I just I just want to say, Xenia, I know you're still there. I mean, you don't. If you want to hang with us, we'd be more than happy to have you come back up. Or, I mean, you don't have to hang out any further if you don't want to. If you have other better things to do, it's entirely up to you. Give me a wave if you want to come back on, or. Okay. Thank you very much, my dear. Have a good night and take care of yourself. We will see you again soon.
I did not, by the way, I did not take the date. We've been talking so far. I mentioned it today in a phone call about never missing one of these shows. So we have a date tomorrow. So I guess, Whitney was all excited last week when she heard that I was on dating apps and stuff like that. So here we go. I'm sure she's not going to let me live this one down. She probably already did message. Oh yeah, she hates us now because her computer was all wonky. So
wait a minute.
Here's the deal.
I got to bring that one up.
I mean, I don't know if this is a red flag or not. It hasn't been before. I've had plenty of dates with women who did not mind that I have a podcast. This is really weird. I don't need to justify myself to you people.
Although they've never really watched you on it.
Hold on. There has been several that have watched the 2 count because they were dating me. So for a couple of weeks, we had 1 extra viewer.
And they're like, what's this Top Shelf bullshit?
Yeah, exactly. I was there for you. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, whatever.
Well, so one of the things that we wanted to talk about, and we were going to save it until after.
I'll talk about wrestling on the date if I want to. Tova or Audrey, probably. Yeah. Definitely right. Oh, well, of course, Audrey says red flag. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, well, she should know because she's a lady.
She is a lady.
She's a lady, and ladies know stuff.
Anyway.
So Tom and I and Ace and Devin and Jason Prentice and his Uncle Bill all went to Monday Night Raw last night at the Target Center. And we stayed. We were in one of the theater boxes. And the theater boxes are a little bit different than the suites, but not too different. They're a little bit different in that it's not full glass over the front of it. So you can see out into the arena. You can hear everything, feel everything. And we had them bring some food in for us.
Yes.
And the food was okay,
Thank you, Death Dealer. Thank you. 12 years together.
Yeah, but Tom, Death Dealer is a wrestler, and you are not.
I have been.
Well, there's a bit of a difference. There's a bit of a difference there.
Fair enough. Anyhow.
He's a performer. You're a commentator.
Still a performer. Still part of the biz. Okay. If my words did not exist, those matches would still exist. But I'm enhancing what they do. Whatever you were saying about Raw.
I was going to say that it was. There's a good point. Bring it up if it's a deal breaker. Yeah. It wasn't going to happen because you're not going to give up wrestling for a woman, are you?
I would, at this point of being single, I would do a lot of things. I would give up a lot of things. Eating.
You wouldn't give up eating.
I'd give up beer. I'd give up beer for sure. Maybe not whiskey.
Probably that might be a doable thing for you.
I don't know if I give up wrestling as a whole. I might give up the commentary. Like Iowa every other weekend. I don't know if listen. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Oh my gosh.
This got off the rails. We were trying to talk about Raw.
Anyway, if you haven't, so the theater box
Yes.
for the entirety of the thing,
yes.
if I remember right, for 6 of us, with the food, and it was, we had hot dogs and we had buffalo pulled pork slider chicken thingies
Buffalo
we got
chicken
to make.
sliders. Yeah, with
And we had
whole
a
chicken.
big honking thing of macaroni and cheese, and we have potato chips and dip and a fruit tray and all the endless popcorn.
And Caesar salad, which I think I might have been the only one that had any Caesar salad.
No, I ate some Caesar salad before you came because I'm healthy. But the whole thing with all of that food. Oh, and by the way, we also had in essence 12 cans of pop, and was it 6 a beer?
6 beers, yeah.
6 beers, 12 pops. The whole thing for all of us, I think, was, what was it, around 200 and something each?
Yeah, like 2 1/4 a piece, which
I don't break chairs anymore, Steven. I am really close to being under 300 again.
atta boy. Hell yeah. So steps through all
Really
the
close.
pies.
Yeah, so I'll be able to eat a whole foot long or a 5-footer or 3-footer, whatever the hell it was, before I break a chair again.
I gotta say this, by the way.
Please don't hear me.
Oh, we can hear you.
Yes, we hear you.
By the way,
What
Whitney,
was it?
I want to go back to a comment, by the way, here. We got there we go. They are like Xenia more than you. So, but these are my friends, so I don't expect them to like
her so I can have a life on fucking Tuesdays. Goddamn. Why? Fuck.
First of all, you're welcome for this opportunity to share your fandom with the whole internet, okay? Don't
You're
think
welcome
that you're
for bringing people to look at your ugly mug for 2 hours every Tuesday.
Listen, it's not an ugly mug, okay?
I can't believe I'm so pissed off.
So what happened?
I have like literally been on my phone Googling like what to do, and finally I had to back click on my sound, and somehow the microphone, it was on and it said it was in use, but the microphone itself was muted in my system settings. I don't even know how that.
Say again? Hold on. You say I didn't quite get the last part.
What?
Oh,
She said
okay,
it was
good.
Muted in her system settings.
Yeah,
Did
but
you
then
not
I
hear
thought
that?
she said something else and then it blanked.
Oh, when I tell you I've turned this computer on and off 900 times, I did an update that was pending. I deleted shit. I cleared all my cookies, my browser. I had to figure out my Facebook to get it. You were not worth all this trouble.
Aw.
It wasn't about us. It was Xenia was worth that trouble. We couldn't do the Tom game this time, but we did.
We should all act like you can't hear me. You guys are assholes. If you would have acted like you couldn't hear me, I would have probably thrown this computer out into the street.
I mean, listen, I will admit that I am an asshole, but I am not that level of an asshole where I want somebody to destroy a computer. What? For that reason. So I don't know if you were watching along while you're trying to do all that stuff, by the way. But Zane, you brought up a really good point. We brought up your section as far as your DM comments. We're gonna have a side by side where you're gonna bring a list of some of your worst DMs.
Yeah.
She's gonna bring a list of her worst DMs. Then we're gonna have people vote on which is the creepiest. It's gonna be a head-to-head battle, you and Xenia, about who has the creepiest following. What do you think?
Yikes. I hope it's her. I hope my followers are a little more mellow. I hope some of mine have some common sense,
She is also more international than you, so there is a possibility she gets.
You know what we really need to do is we need to find a way to figure if we have any of the same people and see how they talk to her compared to how they talk to me. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
That would be awesome.
Okay, so Whitney, by the way, I have a date tomorrow.
Biggest green flag for me.
Okay, fair enough. See,
That's how people do get me to respond. Is if you slide in my DMs, you're like, oh my god, I see you're a huge wrestling fan. Like, who's your goat? I'm answering. I'm Shawn Michaels and you all day long. Like, I'm ready to talk.
Okay, fair enough. So obviously we were talking about us going to Raw last night. We sat in a theater box. So you might be queen of the front row. Yeah. We have now decided that we should be the bougiest bitches up there in the theater box because we were the only ones that got catering, by the way. And we had other people, because the theater boxes they're sweet, but in the suite level, but you got to kind of share the general area with everybody else, which is fine. You still have your seats, your area, your table. So we were the only ones that got the catering. And I guarantee you that there's some of these people, oh, those bougie motherfuckers. No, we're not bougie. We're top shelf. See, these guys finally came around. These guys finally came around. They understand how it's like. See, you've always been top shelf. You just know you're top shelf because you're queen of the front row.
I'm more top shelf than top shelf. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You probably are. You definitely have more credit card debt than I do. That's for damn sure.
200%.
I'll be honest with you.
200%. I spent $100 and something on Posh today.
Girl, why?
And that was just socks.
I need Jesus. Listen, I know I'm like front row, like a front row snob, but I think being catered to in a box would be like, you know.
Oh. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. We, like Tom was right. We're the only ones that had catering. And I'll be honest, I'm sitting there in the back and I'm like side-eyeing them other bastards. Like, you stay the hell away from my potato.
I would have worn all leather and sunglasses the entire time like I was famous.
Tune the nose up, throw the pinky up, and just let them all know how poor they really are. Because this is at one point,
this is a watermelon wedge, bitches. I'm eating it at the Target Center.
At one point before getting to Raw, JR puts in the chat, why don't you interact with the poorest, Tom? And I literally went Vince McMahon on this shit with his theme song of No Chance. That's what you got. No way in hell. If I don't have to, and I mentioned it to Xenia, and she had a really good response to it as far as, you know, sometimes the feral actions of these wrestling fans. Let's be real. The independent wrestling fan is generally one of the most disgusting, vile creatures I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I swear to God, if they knew even how to pronounce shower, I would be fucking shocked.
Yeah, sometimes the smell is not the vibe. But I will say, you never know who knows who.
True.
So I'm always nice. I'm always.
Oh, yeah.
Until I get pissed off.
I'm nice to these people, but
I'm like, look at who you think you know. Do you know who I am?
Fair.
I cannot believe I just spent 2 hours almost. When I got back into the waiting room, test your camera, test your mic, and the mic was just gray, not doing anything. And I got back in there this time, and I was like, I swear to fucking God. And I saw that bad boy go green. I was like, thank you. Oh my God.
So
I was like, I know there's a microphone in there. I don't know how that happened.
We
the
can't.
only thing I do on here is play Sims. Nothing else. This computer is used for nothing but Sims and this podcast. That's it.
Which is great because both of those things you try to kill me. So that's fun. That's fun for you, isn't it?
I wish there was a way we could bring up your killing of. First of all,
we could just go back to the fucking chat.
But I don't know how to download it from there. But here's the thing. First of all, she makes a Tom Chilstrom in The Sims.
But how did I do?
You did really well.
I'm not kidding you. I had a profile picture pulled up from his Facebook as I was like making him. I'm like, this is going to be him.
You did a really good job with everything except his wardrobe just needs to be I mean, look at what he's wearing.
Yeah.
It just needs to be louder and
a little flashier. I did not spend a lot of time going through the outfits.
But as far as his shape and form and face, perfection.
Are your eyes blue, Tom? I'm not kidding. I was trying to zoom in as close as I could to the eyes. I made them like a bluish greenish color because I couldn't tell for sure. I was like, this has to be as close to Tom as I could get.
They are blue. Thank you.
Yes. I literally was holding up one of I think it was like your very first profile picture. It's like a headshot. I was like holding it up next to my game, making sure I got the right hair, the facial hair, the orange red, not the red. I was in it.
Well, that I'm
And then you
actually
died a
trying to pull
lot.
this up right now. Yeah,
What
I'm
was
gonna
your
try and pull
favorite
this
way
up
of
right
death?
now. The flamethrower is great because also you don't realize that the sun is going to kill me eventually too. So, by the way, is everybody ready for this? This is the Sims character that Whitney has made of me. There it is.
Good.
What do y'all think?
I made sure he had a collared shirt on. I was like, he always has on a I was looking for like a golf-esque collared shirt, but I own every Sims pack that there is, and to go through all the clothes, it probably would have taken me like days to put together an outfit.
Do they have a search at all where you could just say douchey?
Jesus Christ.
No. I did his party outfit is the eggplant outfit.
Yeah.
You want me to pull that one up too?
Yeah.
I'll go
All right, let's-
get that now. That's
I don't trust
this
anyone
one.
that doesn't play The Sims.
I'll be honest with you. That eggplant outfit looks like something that Tom would wear too.
Honestly.
Yeah,
I
it's
saved
like-
me and Tom are in our own little family. We're roommates, so I saved it, and the game is still there, so I can go in there and like kind of mess with his outfits and stuff more. I need to make you guys too, and then every time you or Ace or anyone pisses me off, I'll just go kill you guys off and send it to you.
That'd be
All right,
fun.
here we go.
I need to make us a really cool 2-count house.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Do you need us to send you the logo and stuff, or
No, you can't put anything in the game like that. Well, you
what the
can,
fuck
but
are
I
they
don't.
doing?
You can, but I don't make mods. I just download them into my game.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready for the party outfit for Top Shelf here? Which, by the way, I am also listed as Top Shelf Tom Shellstrom in the game. She says
Yes.
send us some videos of this. So
I did name
there
you
you
Top
go.
Shelf, yeah.
here's me as an eggplant, everybody.
Look at the legs. She's got the legs absolutely correct.
You don't know that. My calves are way
I
more.
think you look really happy there too. You're like, you know what? Yes.
You know what
This
this
is
reminds? Have you guys seen the movie Accepted with Justin Long and Blake Lively and Jonah Hill? Jonah Hill at one point is trying to pledge a fraternity at the other college, if you will. Now, you know, spoiler alert, right? And he's dressed up as a wiener or a hot dog, and there he goes, "Ask me about my wiener." This reminds me of that outfit. I feel like I would be literally just going up to people as an eggplant and just be like, "Ask me about my eggplant."
Yeah. You should do that.
I won't do that.
I'm
First
going
of
to
all,
see if they have that outfit on Amazon, and I'm going to have it sent to you as a gift.
I won't ever wear it.
Yeah, you will. Oh, you will.
It'll go really well with your 2-count tattoo.
I happen to know that there are 2 promotions that if they ask you, you will wear it.
Yeah. If both those promotions need to pay up for it, then how about that?
Nope.
How is
Sure
nobody else?
They'll just say Tom, and you'll jump that high.
Wait, you're not going to play any of the videos of me killing you?
No.
Playing the videos
Guys-
is harder than just showing those pictures.
I RKO'd him to hell.
She
Yeah,
did,
that was
and she
cool.
And I
tombstoned me to hell.
yeah.
Tombstoned him to his freaking waist.
She
Yeah.
then just straight up shot me. So we are.
And I
pro
had
wrestling
never used
podcast.
those before. Anytime I've ever used that mod, I usually just shoot people or hack them up with a machete. I don't ever really venture out of those. So when I saw him tombstone you into the ground, that was like that was the first time I'd seen it. I was like, oh!
Yeah.
Sims, you can download the WWE finisher moves. And they
Axe
all
to the
show
head
so
was
much.
good.
Yeah. So when I was tombstoned to hell, by the way, then you just see my ass and legs just dangling out from the ground. Fucking perfect. It's accurate. It says we are wrestling. We are pro wrestling podcast. Dan says close enough. Nailed it. Says the death dealer. This is bullshit. Throw him in the pool and take away the ladders. Fantastic.
I could do that.
I could. Yeah. Oh, he could. Yeah. Amazing work, Whitney. Yeah. Keep stoking that ego that she doesn't need stoked.
Oh my God, start making mods for me. I need someone to make me a WWE career path. I had reached out to a modder before and she never got back to me.
You gotta say it's like the autistic brother in Something About Mary. Jesus. Eggplant costume is only $30 on Amazon. Just saying.
I've got $30 to burn.
Listen. I'm gonna call you this. Chuckles. Listen here, Chuckles. All right, I do not need you to go down the same path as Whitney on this, okay? I do not need Whitney to have more friends on this channel than I have friends on this channel.
Well, I
Okay.
think that's already evident.
We should all get you different costumes. I'll get the eggplant. Someone can get you the wiener one. We could just all get you ridiculous costumes that you need to start wearing during the show.
As long as it's co-branded with the 2 counts, I guess I'll be okay with it.
So are those patches? I can't remember. Are those patches iron-on?
Yes, all of the patches that you...
I can put that patch on anything with my heat press.
Exactly.
Ooh.
See, with the good, nice glue here.
Yep.
Obviously, if you iron on a patch at all, you should always make sure you then stitch it in. But yeah, high quality iron-on patches available to anybody who fucking asks for one.
And he got those before tariffs.
I got them before tariffs, which God, that's gonna be a problem because so I gave Devin the flag that I had with me last night, the banner, the 2 count banner.
Yeah.
That was also the same one that was used on AEW Dynamite. So he's got the good one. And then Ace just goes,
TV.
"Oh yeah, I gotta get one. I gotta get another one because I gave mine to Christian because I almost forgot it there." Of course you did. Of course you just gave it away to somebody. Yeah, because banners like money just grows on fucking trees.
Well, that's what the top shelf guy would do.
Listen, don't talk to me like that.
We also have to, I mean, at some point we have to have our order for shirts again.
Yes, true. Yeah, I see. That's another thing. I gotta get some shirts from you for our friends out in Colorado that I have yet to send me to do.
I don't have the proper all sizes is my problem.
Well, I told you I need just a large and extra large. You said you had those.
Is that what I have? I don't know. I got to go look now. But if I'd have
We're
had
a
those,
well-oiled machine on and off this fucking show, everybody.
It's just all the same. Everybody knows.
We know
Here's
we
the
have
thing.
inventory.
So we can get the shirts, and I just don't want to spend more than we have to. So if we're going to get shirts, I want to order the amount that we need because if we get more than 12, then it's cheaper than if we buy 4.
Right. Yeah, I get you. I understand.
So
I know.
That's all I'm saying.
Look at Whitney, by the way. She fought to be on here tonight, and then now she's just on her phone.
She's trying to.
I'm still so irritated. Like,
What I love is the fact that normally I'm the one who's just really mad about something that happens on the show. When you come on in this rage and you're so upset.
Because how did that happen? And what really pisses me off, Tom, is the last thing I was doing on this computer was killing you in The Sims. So, like, somehow this is your fucking fault.
It's karma.
Of course it is. By the way, where's that Rodney Dangerfield comment that Dan made? Yeah, on the Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Top shelf, Tom, the Rodney Dangerfield of the 2 count in his own mind, of course. Yeah, of course, my own mind, because I am the only one who gets no respect around here.
He's like the Rodney Dangerfield, except not funny.
Shut the fuck. Well, then why are you still putting me on shows with you, huh? Why are you still putting me on shows?
Because I like you. I like you, Tom. Whitney, Tom and I'm gonna have Tom come and do some shows with me. We're going to be in, and this is, by the way, those folks who are down there and that do the Absolute Pro shows, the Algona. This is going to be close enough to Algona. We're going to be doing a show in Mason City, Iowa, on May 24th. And for those of you that are up in the Northland, me and Tom are going to be at the Dublin Pub on September 27th. So I like Tom. I would bring Tom on more shows with me if I could, because I think that Tom is a good dude who will give me some gas money.
I was gonna say, you also know that this means I probably have to drive if he's buttering me up like this, right? I go pick him up and I go pick him some stuff here, and then just to bring him up to Duluth and stuff for that show.
No.
He says no now.
I know what it is. I just said shit to be funny.
Oh, so you didn't mean?
I miss Ace.
Wow. Well, we actually said that he probably got your disease. I'm just going to start calling it Whitney's disease. Instead of open mouth, I'm just going to start calling it Whitney's disease. I think it could catch on. I think you are the new Lou Gehrig.
I got me a bad
Whitney. Are you kidding me?
I got me a bad case of the Whittles.
Do not. No.
Not
I'm
the
out.
Whittles. No, the Whitneys.
I'm very upset that I got this goddamn computer working now. Do not call me the Whittles.
Well, if I know that's how much you hate it, then I'm definitely calling you. What's
Bye.
up, Whittles?
It's like
Okay,
the measles,
bye.
except it's a Whittles.
Don't say it anymore. She's gonna leave.
Do you want to know what my nickname really was? It's way worse than that.
Ooh, is it
What
was
was
your first name or last name?
My first name.
Hmm.
My family, all my friends, they still call me this, and it
Shitney?
pisses me off.
Shitney?
Shitty Witty. Shitty
Oh.
Witty.
I was close.
Shitty Witty.
All the kids I grew up with it pisses me off.
Well,
If I
technically,
walk in somewhere, they'll be like, Shitty Witty, and I fucking leave. I leave. I'm like, bye. Bye.
That's and well, you should.
So I'll take Whittles. Whittles isn't sounding that bad.
It's like it's like the measles, but it's the Whitneys, so it's the Whittles. That's all. I mean, and if you don't like it, I won't do it. I'm not like Tom. I won't.
Who wouldn't want a disease named after them? I mean, come on.
Well, I wouldn't.
well, because if it was named after JR, it'd be like somehow like where it's diabetes and gout are the exact same fucking thing all of a sudden, and it's just named after JR. It's the John Russell disease. What is that? It's where I got gout and diabetes, but it's like not full on diabetes and it's not full on gout. It's just like really painful in the knee and calf area.
There is no story behind that. Honestly, I low-key kind of wish there were.
You should shit yourself at a
My
family
mom's
reunion.
buddy Joe, he started
it's
it.
like if they took you to church on Sunday and you shit your pants. Now, of course, they would call you Shitty Witty.
I honestly wish there was like a good story to it. I'll have to ask my mom.
You can
I
still
don't
make
think
that
there was.
story happen.
Should I just
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like, oh, from childhood.
Dad, before karaoke, let's go to church.
When I was a kid and I was in school, I used to pretend that I went to the bathroom in my pants so my mom would come pick me up and I wouldn't have to go back. And she finally caught on to it and started packing extra clothes. So I had to quit doing it.
She's like, I'm going to fix this one. She's going to for sure learn something. Didn't learn
I
shit.
did it like 6 or 7 times before I think she finally caught on. So she started sending a change of clothes. She would take them and leave them in the nurse's office. She's like, if she comes down here, just make her change and send her back to class. I was like,
How old were you?
oh, I had to been in like 1st grade. I do remember doing that.
Jesus.
What?
You
I
ever
hated
try to get out of
school.
school? You ever try to get out of school, Tom?
School sucked.
Yeah, I was sick quite a bit in 2nd grade, and then and my dad caught on because he was working 2nd shift, so me being sick was just basically me being downstairs with the blanket over me and watching Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers most of the day. And then not only did he catch on, but then he went the exact opposite way. The one time I had a concussion bad enough where I should have stayed home, I ended up vomiting in the bathroom at school because I had a concussion. So
here's my story.
Oh,
I used to try to fake it, and then my mom would say, "Oh, I'm smarter than you. You're if you don't have a temperature, you're going to school." And so she would give me the thermometer, and then I'm like, rub it on my shirt, and she's like, "Okay, you don't have a temperature of 118." So that was all out. But one time I did get sick at school, and I went to Catholic school in grade school and high school, and I was going to tell the nun who was my teacher that I didn't feel well. And she was, you know how nuns are. They're like, I don't know if I even like kids. And anyway, long story short,
I knew they weren't going to be able to have any.
Yeah. No, long story short, I vomited on her and filled the chalk tray as well. So that was
damn. That's fucking harsh.
That was
chalk tray.
Yeah, chalk. I'm
malfunction
old school. I'm old. We did shit on a chalkboard.
Listen, motherfucker. I grew up. I went to school in the 90s. They had chalkboards everywhere. What are you talking about? Whiteboards are a generational thing. Well beyond myself, and fuck you, Whitney went to school, in those backwood fucking one room schoolhouses.
1 room schoolhouse.
Right, Whitney? Is that what you grew up in?
I'm leaving.
Oh,
I can't believe I worked so hard to get my computer working to listen to this shit.
You have no idea how much we appreciate that you worked that hard to actually do it, because
I was genuinely so pissed off.
Oh, I can imagine. Because to be honest, Ace has had that issue and just never came back.
Yeah, he doesn't try.
Yeah, I was not gonna try. I did try that second time because I thought I fixed it. I was like, I'm not trying again until I see that damn thing.
We were sure hoping you had too, because it would have been fun for you to. So, when in talking with Xenia, she knew she's been all over the place. You guys probably know some of the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
so.
she was talking about some of the folks up here in First Wrestling in Minneapolis that she knows that we know, and it's who was it that we mentioned? Then she went crazy about somebody. I can't remember who it was. Oh, Nerd D.
Yeah.
So it's we'll have to have her back on when you can be on too, because you guys can compare.
I know. I was looking forward.
Yeah.
To having a woman on
here
here
with her and listening and learning.
That's literally what we were saying, is that actually we need to have you on the show because we wanted to have you two converse a lot more, because
we would have muted you guys out. I would have been like, how do I get
and to be honest with you, I'd have shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously we all know that wrestling, the fandom is more male based. There is not a whole lot of women that are in the fandom of pro wrestling. So I think it's always great when y'all do get an opportunity to meet, because, you're like little small unicorns, you all you meet up, and then all of a sudden now we have a posse of unicorns. I don't know what the fucking group of unicorns.
And there are only like 5 female wrestling fans that I've met that I just don't vibe with, but like most of them are really cool.
They all seem pretty cool. I mean, you most of the time seem cool, but also I've met you in person, so go ahead and kill me on Sims. Go ahead and kill me on Sims now. Let's see if this isn't fucking motivation for you.
I'm way nicer on the internet than I am in real life.
I know you are, and you're still a terrible fucking person to me on this said fucking internet.
I know. I've kind of come to realize people kind of like it when like girls are mean to them on the internet. I'm like, fuck, I could have been just being mean the whole time. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but like most guys are just desperate for any kind of female interaction if they're straight. So if you give them any kind of attention whatsoever, mean, negative, they'll probably eat it up. There's a lot of guys out there that are just really alone. Well, hell,
wrestling fans. Most of them are wrestling fans.
You're aware. You've been to shows. How many times you get just people from like across the ring like, oh, she's over there again.
Did I ever tell you there was one time I went to a show and I met this guy, super cute, super nice, like found me on socials, gave me his number. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, he likes wrestling. He's cute. He's normal, blah, 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 blah. And like, I was chit-chatting back and forth with him for a couple weeks, and I don't know, for whatever reason, decided to look him up on Facebook. Fucking married.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, buddy, I gotta block you. That's like, what are you, like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you? He's like, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to block you because I just know I'll keep trying to message you. I was like, yeah, that's, so I'm like, even on the off chance you find a normal one, they're dirtbags.
Speaking of dirtbags, there's Tom's new costume. Folks, it is, do we want to give him the eggplant? The eggplant's $31 on Amazon. The hot dog, $29. Send us some bits and subs and whatevers, and maybe
send us 800 bits tonight.
He definitely needs both.
I mean, Tom needs to have. There's also a banana. Let's see about the banana. The banana is $34.
I think we need to get them off of like Temu, so they're like shitty quality. Like I think that's more Tom. We don't want to get them like.
Yeah,
do you have a Temu?
One's too fucking top notch. Is that what you're fucking saying?
Yeah, we don't want to get them the good shit. Let's get them like a Temu version.
But here's the thing: if you have a Temu Temu, whatever the fuck it is.
What the fuck? You haven't seen over there?
If you have, yeah. If you have one of those accounts, then absolutely, I'll chip in some money. But
I have seen
there he is. There he is. That's I don't, because I don't need China to know about me.
China.
China. It's China.
Let's just get this out of the way. Go find a fucking carrot suit. Oh my God, man. You asshole.
Because your hair is orange.
Yeah, it's just splurge on the hot dog costume and just buy a real hot
I
dog.
didn't even think of that.
Oh, look at that.
Absolutely
Danny just bought you a costume, Tom.
Pretty much, yeah, I know. What I love is when listen, and much as I rag him, by the way, Dan is the only real true person who donates to us. He's really the only one that we have as a true fan. Because even Tina, you don't see mid-level Tina out here today, do you?
Where was Tina?
I don't know. Who cares?
You bring her up a lot.
Yeah, because I got a bag on her when she's not here. See? Yeah. Also, she's so annoying. Come
You
on.
bring her up a lot.
Don't do that. Don't insinuate anything like that. What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm gonna tell her I've noticed you bring her up a lot. I'm gonna message her right now. I'm like, where are you?
She's probably busy.
I was ready for you.
Don't do that voice with that fucking costume, you fucking knob. That's disrespectful right there.
Of the banana, yes.
So by the way, everybody, just
by the way, Dan, which one of the costumes do you want him to have?
Yeah, there you go, Dan. Comment on which one you want. Just to recap, by the way, we've decided since JR, myself, Ace, and we had Jason Prentice and his uncle Bill. None of us are small men at all, but we have decided that the theater box at the Target Center is really the way to go for us.
Oh God, yes.
More than enough room for us to, stand, sit down, still have plenty of leg room.
Move around without having to make everybody in the row of seats move.
Yeah.
Tina lives in Iowa?
She does, yes.
Does she live near Des Moines?
I think she's closer to Des Moines than anything else. I mean, I don't know. What else is there in Iowa? There's Algona, I know. There's Steamboat Rocks, which is a fucking small, barely holding on town. There's Waterloo. Waterloo's like the third or fourth biggest town in Iowa, population-wise. There's Fort Dodge, the Dirty Dodge is what they like to call it. It's also the only town I know that the parking lot is shared between a Walmart and a Target. So that should tell you the level of shit that they're dealing with down there in Fort Dodge. There's Ottumwa, Iowa, where British City Slam will be, which, by the way, Central Empire Wrestling and Austin Bayless just announced that they'll have some announcements for British City Slam 7 or 8 coming up next week. So we are looking for that.
I'm messaging her. I'm not going to that comedy show on Thursday now, and I'm just going to see if she wants the ticket.
Oh, yeah. That's a fair point. Yes. She says she's a fan of comedy, but also I've never seen her laugh.
There she's Tina's right there in the chat right now.
Tina, do you want a ticket to a comedy show?
She's just willing to give it to you. She bought it for way too much money, and it's a person we never even heard of.
You've never heard of Jeff R. Curry? He is so funny.
Too, Tom.
I have.
I love him. He is hilarious.
I've heard of him.
I'm just not going. Tina. It's in Des Moines, and I paid $200 for the ticket. It's a front row ticket. I just don't want to drive 5 hours.
Because she forgot how much she also hates Iowa. See, she got rid of her little subtitle here, which used to say "fuck Iowa." So,
yeah,
I like the way that she's done it now, though. On her name, it's Whitney. Period.
Yeah, I like punctuation.
It should say Whitney. Period. Motherfuckers.
Bitches is my word. I love the word bitches. Sorry.
Yeah, the way she's acting today.
Yeah, Tina, I messaged you.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Besties for the resties, me and Tina. I can't wait to come there in June, you guys. I'm so excited.
June, what she's talking about, everybody, we got Madhouse is coming back to Rochester June 21st. It's going to be a big deal. The sad thing for me is I had an opportunity to play in a golf tournament down in the Chicago area that day, and I had to cancel on the golf tournament for the opportunity to go to a Madhouse show and hang out with my other co-host of the 2 Count.
Were you going to win the tournament?
God, no.
Well, then what's the fucking loss?
The fact that I could have gone down there wearing my spiffy Shanky Golf gear, gotten more people involved with the ShankyGolf.com world. And then also, I got all these nice branded embroidered shirts that I have.
Those are very nice, and we do appreciate them. But let me ask you something. How many of those Shank Golf shirts have you sold? Have you sold enough to get paid yet?
Yes, I have received. $22 total from my
Shit, dude,
promotion.
you're rocking it. You're rocking it.
I mean, as far as it goes with me only really having it out here, I don't really even post too much on they're probably actually gonna take my
That's
best.
$22 more than JR has made. Don't let him talk shit about your hustle, Tom.
Absolutely
That's
not
why
true.
he's actually getting kind of excited. He's like, oh man, like that's not bad. But I've had it for 2.5 years now, so it is actually kind of bad. Like I also haven't promoted the fact that I'm probably the only person who's ever worn a Shank Golf attire. Or
You should
in a ring.
Seriously, you should message Xenia and ask her how to promote yourself so you can sell some fucking shirts.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. The brand loyalty might be gone. By the way, I just went to the Waggle sale, their warehouse sale, and I picked up way too much shit.
I think you need to have you a nice little photo shoot on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what I need to do?
A new shirt at each hole, yeah.
First of all, I am a fat, hairy dude. No one really wants me to take my shirt off at the golf course. Okay?
She's not suggesting that.
I mean,
She
you
said
just switch
new
it in
shirt.
your golf cart on your way to the next
Go to the
hole.
bathroom, change your shirt, come back out. What the hell is wrong with you, Tom?
You have no idea how
You're
far.
body positive, Tom. Do whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, I still think I look great, but there's other people who have fucking problems with it. Okay.
Well, who gives a
It's
shit
not
what
me.
other people think? Oh my God, grow up.
Yeah, grow up. Did Bert Kreischer have a problem last night taking his shirt off? No.
He should have. No, what he should have had was the problem that he took his fucking belt off and that top of that fucking ass crack started showing. It's like, you fucking plumber ass
You look
motherfucker.
like, yeah, you would say Plumber Bert.
Just
You know, the more I watch his like little podcast, like clippets of that and stuff, he's kind of a dirtbag. I kind of don't like him.
Yeah, right.
I don't like the
That's
way he
fair.
talks about his wife all the time. It's weird.
Fair. He was there actually really on Raw last night to promote the fact that his sixth, apparently, Netflix is giving him 6 specials, which I only thought he had one joke, so that's funny. I didn't know. Literally, he should be called Bert the Plumber Guy because he's literally been able to milk one fucking joke for 6 fucking specials.
Didn't they even make it like a little movie series type thing?
Yes, they made it into a fucking like a little movie on Hulu called The Machine or something like that. Or
the joke was funny the one time, and then that was it. Like, I mean, like it's still a funny joke, but like too excessive.
listen, I've been paid several times to take off my shirt during a comedy show. So I have done that. I understand. It's a bit hacky to take off your shirt anywhere in public, but when people pay you extra money to do it, you know, like, I'm going to take the extra money because a lot of these fucking comedy gigs do not pay worth shit. So JR knows this full well. Like that Dublin shows I'm actually pretty stoked about because that's actually a pretty decent payday.
Yeah.
It's 2 shows, but it's still a decent payday.
Actually, that one's just one.
Oh, no shit. Good. Awesome.
Yeah, because it's September, so it's not actually the
off season
winter season yet.
Yeah.
So it's just one show, which is nice because then we get home that much earlier.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We don't have to worry about that fucking weird 10 o'clock rush at the bar either. Dude, I love Dublin. I really do. But to have karaoke immediately following your comedy shows, where you have a bunch of college-age kids who are just ready to fucking sing their little fucking hearts out. Off tune, by the way, it's karaoke, so they're all gonna be off tune. You have them waiting outside this fucking small-ass room to get in to do karaoke. Yet you have no one that is worried about getting the people out of the fucking room in a timely manner. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. We can only do so much as comics to be like, hey, no, we'll talk to you out here. Out here. No, I need you to come out of the goddamn room.
The last time I was there, I was still in the room. Somebody came in and said, "So when's it start?" What I said, it doesn't start. It's already over.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he was coming in to do karaoke.
Yeah.
So I screwed that guy's night up.
No, I literally came out of the room one time and this gal comes up. She goes, "When is karaoke starting?" I go, "Don't talk to me." And she was a very attractive young lady, but it's also like, I don't want to hear anything about fucking karaoke. All right.
Wait, speaking of attractive young ladies, how's your Tinder life going?
You missed it. You missed it. You didn't get back on here in time to hear this. I have a date tomorrow. Okay.
Well, I need details.
What do you need details for?
What's her name? What are her intentions? What does she look like? How old is she?
First of all, none of your business.
Oh, come
none of your
on,
business.
Tom.
Literally, if
And,
you're gonna
pull
talk
this
about it on
shit
a
every
fucking
time.
podcast, you've made it my business.
I wasn't
Tell
trying
you
to.
guys all my business.
First of all, that's not our fault that they're over when you're doing this fucking show.
You love my business, okay?
Yeah, we do a little bit. All right, fine. Her name is Jamie. We met through Bumble. She's really cool. She's
That means she messaged you first.
yes, that's how that works.
Ooh, I do know that about Bumble.
And then she
That's the
messaged me.
bitches. That's the bitches platform.
That's the what platform? Excuse me, you don't know this gal.
No.
Bitches is my word.
I guess so, but like hey,
The bitches
Okay.
get mad when you call them females. You gotta, if you say females, they think you're like rude. Every time I say females on TikTok, everyone attacks me. I'm like, bro, that's what you are.
yeah, but the
So
way
bitches
people
is what
are.
it is.
Fair enough. Anyhow, yeah, it's gonna be a very simple date, but just continue.
Where are
to
you
get to know
taking
you.
her?
Don't worry about that
Come
I
on,
literally
Tom.
don't fucking live there, Tom. Why does it matter? I'll
because
show up.
you will. You'll drive the fucking 9 hours to get up there.
Would too.
No, it's gonna be a real simple date. Again, it's just more about getting to know people.
Okay, well,
Not
send me the
experiencing part.
selfie.
We get meeting
I
around
want
a
to see a
parking lot.
selfie of you guys on your date.
Parking lot, Tom. Shoe shine repair. I don't know where you. I mean, come on.
Well,
We're
do you
gonna
try
meet
to
up.
get lucky at the end of a Bumble date, or is this like just a normal? Like I don't, because like Tinder is all about like
Listen, I if
Bumble classier.
Bumble is classier
What
because
if she's
again,
watching this right now? She's probably like, I hate that blonde bitch.
as most people should, to be honest with you. Anyhow, no, but we've been messaging, we've been talking to her. We've had phone conversations already. She's a lovely human
You
being.
talked on the phone?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cute.
I'm not afraid of talking.
Mom!
Yeah, I know. Who
Did
would
you
have thought?
FaceTime?
No, I don't have an Apple.
What
I
a
don't have an
fucking
You know what?
meager
For a
excuse.
girl to really go for you based off of pictures on the internet is good for you because men look like idiots in their pictures on the internet. I don't ever think men are attractive in pictures.
So again, that that headshot you used for this debacle.
Yeah.
I can't find it now. All of a sudden, oh yeah,
That
for this,
did great. I did so good.
Jesus,
you
you
did
could put that
actually-
up on Bumble.
you
Yeah.
did very well. So yeah, that headshot you used for that's one of the profile pictures. So because it's a professional headshot, why am I not going to fucking use a professional headshot?
I'm excited for you.
Can't wait to
I wanna
not
go on
tell
a
you all
date.
about next week. You can go on a date. Just fucking tell him you're going to go on a date.
I know he's sitting right here. I said, I want to go on a date. He's like,
Sorry, bro.
I don't get asked on dates.
That's because you're already in a relationship.
I don't even think we've ever been on a date.
Hey, listen, look at the time. We should probably end this show. We're getting really. I don't want him to hate me. Don't hate me, bro. I didn't do this to you. I did this to you. Oh, sorry, man.
Tom's like, I gotta go.
I just fucking ruined his life. I'm so sorry. No, actually, we are getting pretty close to the end here.
Where are you going?
I'm not gonna go anywhere.
Come
No, don't
on,
worry.
Tom.
We're gonna meet at a park and walk and have a conversation and then get some dinner afterwards.
Does she have a dog?
Tom, that's so cute.
Has 2 dogs and 2 cats.
If you ever
And
invited me to
chickens.
go walking in the park,
Is
I would
she-
never fucking go. Do not
Is
ever
she
ask me
bringing
to
the
go walking.
dog?
No,
What the
again,
fuck?
it's dogs. It's dogs. She has multiple
You should
dogs.
bring them both. She should bring them both.
Well, you
Dogs can
Aren't
tell,
you
Tom.
gonna get out of breath walking through the park?
shut the fuck up, Whitney. I'm not that out of shape.
No, I mean I would be out of breath.
You,
I am such a raggedy bitch, I know.
good Lord. First of all, very, very well put. As far as the burn goes, my
Do you
God,
have an inhaler?
aren't you
I
gonna
feel
be out
like
of
I can
breath?
see you like halfway through your
I didn't expect you to be so sweaty from your pictures.
Listen. I'll tell you something that happened at work today. There's a guy, a good coworker of mine. He was going out for a smoke, and I was just criticizing him. I go, man, that's a pretty heavy jacket for April. He goes, I'm not built like you. I'm like a skinny fox to your polar bear. Shut the fuck up, dude. That ain't cool. Fair, but ain't cool.
Dude, that's so funny.
And then another funny thing happened at work today too. A guy who is a big wrestling fan. He actually had tickets to Raw, but he was sick, so he couldn't go. But he was at work today. He was feeling better, and it has been a while since he was in it. Where he was missed like the last 3 or 4 days of work, and that was across the weekend. So he comes in today. He goes, "Hey man, how was it?" And I turn around and look at him. I go, "Is your sweater on backwards?" He goes, "No." Looks at down the collar. Yes. I'm like, wait, it's 1:30 afternoon, dude. How have you gone this long and no one told you that? He goes, no one said anything. I go, people are assholes, dude. Just fucking tell them, dude. Tell them. So anyhow.
All right.
That's it. We should end it.
You know what? This was a fine show. From start to finish, it was a fine show.
Whitney, we missed you. We'll have Xenia back on so you can ask all your questions to her. And we'll have the side-by-side as far as your worst DMs or comments to her worst DM and comments. And then we can finally play the Tom game with her.
Okay. Deal.
Tom, don't wear cheap cologne.
I don't need to wear cologne. I don't have body odor, Dan. Well, to the level that all these other independent wrestling fans do. Just
God. You guys,
ass.
I think we have no guest next week, but I believe we have someone on. I know we have someone on April 29th. But I don't know. Huh?
I said sweet.
Yeah. And actually, this time it's a comedian. So April 29th, we will have a guest. There's 2 more weeks before that. I don't know if Ace has anybody else scheduled. But regardless, we will be here. We hope you will be here. Go ahead, Tom.
And remember, we got the April 19th, night 1 of WrestleMania. We'll be doing a live watch along from Ace's place. Whitney, you're obviously more than welcome to come up, but I'm sure you don't want to come all the way up to Rochester just for that because you got to go through that lovely state of Iowa.
We can pipe her in like this.
Yeah, she'll hate us for us because.
Listen, I don't like doing watch-alongs because. First of all, you guys see how I act. I guess it doesn't matter. I've already been watched along on television.
Yeah, you're already as well distracted by something else. Your ADHD is really shining through on this one.
I know.
Anyway,
it's bad.
Thank you to both of you. I am, if nothing else, a gentleman. Thank you for being with me on Tuesday. Thank you to all of you for watching.
Is this our Tuesdays with Lori? Are you dying soon?
I could be dying at any time. You never fucking know. And I want to thank Ace for not being here to make this show that much better tonight.
I was going to say, there's this one comment that says, look at how big JR's smile is. And I was going to say, that's exactly because Ace isn't here.
Because Ace isn't here. Anyway, you guys, thanks again so much. Whether you're watching us on X, you're watching us on Twitch, you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate it. We will see you all next week. Bye-bye.